Hi, welcome to the video Spring Boot beginner tutorial with Spring Tools version 4 for Eclipse with me Nam Hamin from code.java.net. Throughout this video, I will help you get started with Spring Boot by creating a Hello World Spring Boot project using Spring Tool Suite IDE as the next generation of Spring Tool Suite IDE is Spring Tool version 4. First, let's understand what is Spring Boot. Spring Boot is a framework that makes it easy to create Spring-based applications. Spring Boot is a set of APIs and libraries which are built on top of Spring Framework. And using Spring Boot, you can create standalone and production-grade Spring applications. And so Spring Boot application we run with an embedded server like Tomcat, ZTL on the top, and Tomcat is a default embedded server for a Spring Boot application. Spring Boot uses the concept of starter dependencies to simplify build configuration, and it provides automatic configuration of Spring and third-party libraries. And Spring Boot also provides production-ready features like metrics, health checks, and externalized configuration. And using Spring Boot, no code generation required, no XML configuration required. So Spring Boot is a very popular and widely used framework that greatly simplifies development of Spring-based applications by automatic configuration and no code generation, no XML configuration. So today it's strongly recommended to use Spring Boot to develop Spring applications. Next, let's understand what is Spring Tool Suite IDE or STS. STS is an Eclipse-based IDE which is customized for developing Spring applications. STS is developed by the Spring community. It is free and open source. So, what is the difference between Spring Tool Suite IDE and Eclipse IDE? With Spring Tool Suite IDE, you can use Spring-specific development support like perspective, views, and tools. It helps you develop Spring application quickly and easily. You can develop Spring application faster and conveniently following best practices using Spring Tool Suite IDE. And there are two main families of Spring Tool Suite versions. The old family version is STS3, and the new family or the next generation of Spring Tool Suite IDE is called Spring Tools 4 or STS4. And in this video tutorial, I will help you get started with Spring Boot using Spring Tools 4 or STS4. So, what's new in Spring Tool Suite 4? Spring Tool Suite 4 is the next generation of Spring tooling. It is rebuilt from scratch. STS4 supports three main IDEs: Eclipse, Visual Studio Code, and Theia. And with STS4, it provides Spring-aware features like navigate, Spring code, smart code completing for Spring-specific annotation and XML config files. And the boot dashboard allows you to manage running Spring Boot applications. This feature comes already in STS 3, and in STS 4 it removes some stuff like Spring Perspective and some views like request mapping, Spring Explorer. So Spring Tool Suite 4 is the next generation of Spring Tool Suite IDE, and it supports Eclipse, Visual Studio Code, and Theia. And most importantly, it provides Spring-aware features that help you develop Spring-based application easily and quickly. And this is exactly what you will learn throughout this video tutorial, a Spring Boot beginner tutorial with Spring Tool Suite for STS 4. Download and install Spring Tools for Eclipse, and you will learn to develop a Spring Boot Hello World project with a REST controller for RESTful web services, and a MVC model view controller with Thymeleaf template. And you also learn to write some JUnit test cases for testing Spring Boot applications. And finally, you will learn how to package your Spring Boot application. Now, let me show you how to download and install Spring Tool Suite for STS4, or the new name is Spring Tools 4. Go to this URL, spring.io/tools. This is my Chrome browser, and head to the page https spring.io/tools. You see, this is the home page of the Spring Tools 4, and we will download Spring Tools 4 for Eclipse for Windows operating system. So click this button and download STS 4 Windows 64-bit. Save to a folder on my computer. STS 4. Click save. It is downloading Spring Tool Suite version 4. This will take a moment, few minutes. Okay, the download has completed. Click show in folder, and you see the download is a self-extracting jar file. So double click this jar file to run. Okay, now you can see the dialog unpackaging Spring Tool Suite. Just a moment. Okay, and you can see the extracted directory here, STS version 4.5.1, released here. Go in and you can see the icon to launch Spring Tool Suite 4 here, and double click this icon. Now, the first time running Spring Tool Suite 4, we choose a directory for workspace. So I choose a directory on my D driver STS4 projects. Click launch. Here we go, the splash screen of Spring Tool Suite 4. And this is a Spring Tool Suite 4 IDE. Spring Tool 4. It is based on Eclipse, so if you are already familiar with Eclipse, you will see using Spring Tool Suite 4 is easy. Just like using Eclipse. You can see the boot dashboard here that allows you to manage running Spring Boot applications. And now let's create our first Hello World Spring Boot project using Spring Tool Suite 4. You can see in the first time you use STS for the hybrid that lets you create new Spring Starter project here, or you can go to the menu file, new Spring Starter project, and the new Spring Starter project lets you configure the first Spring Boot project, and you can see the type project is Maven, and you can choose the Java version. The default is Java 8, and packaging type Java, language Java, and we modify the project name is Hello Spring Boot, and change the group ID to net.codejava, and the description is Hello World project for Spring Boot. Change the package name for the generated code to net.codejava. That's it. And click next. And here we can choose the version of Spring Boot. The default is 2.2.4, which is the most stable version. And then we can choose a starter dependency to include in our project. For Hello World Spring Boot project, we can use a starter Spring Web that allows us to build web including RESTful for application using Spring MVC. Use Apache Tomcat as the default embedded container. Okay, and click next and finish. And wait for a moment for the project being created. Okay, you can see our Hello World Spring Boot project got created here, and you can see the Java version used is Java 8, and the pom.xml file is a Maven's project file here, got created here, and let me open it, and you can see. Okay, let me increase the font size so you can see the text bigger. Font colors and fonts, basic text font, edit 16. Okay, apply and close. Okay, now you can see the text bigger. Here in the Maven's project file pom.xml, you can see the some dependencies automatically included by Spring Boot is first thing you can see is Spring Boot Starter Web here. Spring Boot Starter Web here, and Spring Boot Starter Test, and there are two default dependencies. And You can see there are many jar files automatically downloaded by Maven here for a Spring Boot web application. And in the source directory for Java, you can see the main class Hello Spring Boot application got generated here. You can see, and the annotation Spring Boot application is used to make this Spring Boot application. And in the resources directory, you can see static to put static files like HTML, images, CSS, JavaScript, and templates to put templating files like Thymeleaf. And the application.properties file is a properties file for Spring Boot application. And in the test folder, you can see a test class was also generated here, and you can see, and it uses annotation Spring Boot test to allow testing of Spring Boot application. So that's a project got generated by Spring Boot with default configuration, automatic configuration, and the directory is based on standard structure. And you can see Spring Tool Suite IDE comes with a boot dashboard that allows us to manage running Spring Boot application. And you can see the Hello Spring Boot application here. And let me move this view here. Okay. And right click here to start our first Hello World Spring Boot project. You can see the Spring Boot logo appears in the console view here, and some login information printed here. You see, starting service Tomcat initialize with port 8080. Tomcat started on port 8080 here. That means our Spring Boot application is up and running. And you can see this error message failed to refresh line data from process 5568, which means Spring Boot automatically connect to our running Spring Boot application. As you can see in the context menu here, live data connection, but it requires some configuration of the MX, so it throws that error. So just ignore it. And you can right click here and open web browser to access the home page of the application. And you can see the web page cannot be found here because we don't have any default page for our application. So we need to add our home page in the static folder here. New as a, and type HTML here, HTML file. Next, and enter the name is index.html, index.html, and change the title of the page to hello the Spring Boot, and the page has heading 1, Spring Boot with STS 4. Okay, save the file, and we need to restart our Spring Boot application. Right click here, restart. Okay, and right click here, open web browser again, and you can see the home page now display with the message Spring Boot with STS 4, and you can see the title is Hello Spring Boot. We can copy this rest and test with our Chrome browser. Here, enter, and you can see Hello Spring Boot is the title of the page, and the page has the heading 1, Spring Boot with STS 4. So far so good, right? That means our first Hello World Spring Boot application is up and running. You can see the static file index.html here. And next, let's create a Spring MVC controller in this package net.code.java here. Right click, new, class, and enter the class name as home. Sorry, MVC controller. Finish. And this is a regular normal Spring MVC controller, so we use the annotation controller, and we code a hello method public string, say hello, and this method we return a view name, print something to the console and return a view name, which is Thymeleaf template. Print something, say hello hot cold, and return the view name. And we use a request mapping annotation to specify the request mapping URL, which is /hello here. This is a very simple Spring MVC controller with a hello method. Okay, save the file. And with Spring Tool Suite 4, you can use a shortcut key, Ctrl+6 on Windows to view. You can see to view the symbols of Spring stuff in the project. You can see all the symbols start with the @ sign here, and /hello is you can see is a request mapping, and sign plus is a string bin. You see, you can press Ctrl+6 for symbols in project to show up this dialog that helps you quickly navigate symbols, Spring specific symbols, Spring annotation, Spring beans, request mapping. Okay. and we need to restart our Spring Boot application to test. Sorry, we need to update the static file to include a hyperlink to that a reference. Hello, say hello. Okay, restart. Because Spring Boot is a standalone application running with embedded Tomcat server, so we need to restart each time we make changes to the code. Okay, now we can use the internal web browser to test. You can see the hyperlink say hello here. Click. You can see we got the error, the web page cannot be found because we haven't specified the template file for the view home here. So we need to use Thymeleaf. In this tutorial, I will show you how to use Thymeleaf template. So right click on the project and you can see the Spring menu here to edit status, and we add Thymeleaf here. Thymeleaf here. Check Thymeleaf is a template engine. You can see here a modern server-side Java template engine for both web and standalone environments. And click OK. And you can see in the pom.xml file, it will add a dependency for Thymeleaf. You can see here, Spring Boot starter Thymeleaf. Now with Thymeleaf template engine, we need to put the template file into the template directory here. So click New to create a new HTML file. Copy and paste this file. Copy and paste. Okay, and change the name to home.html. The name home must match the view name returned by a handler method. Here you see. And we modify the code of the home.html here. Home of Spring Boot. Welcome, home of Spring Boot. And we have a hyperlink to call RESTful web service here. So we create a hyperlink call REST. And in this template file, we need to print the content of variable passed from the controller in a p tag, and we use a Thymeleaf syntax here to print the content of a variable. For example, message, and here in the HTML element, we must specify HTML namespace for Thymeleaf XML and HTML namespace th http thymeleaf.org. Okay, to use th prefix here. Break line. Okay, and in the controller in the handler method. We need to modify. Okay, in the console view previously you can see the message say hello world core. That means the handler method is invoked, but the view could not be found. Now let's write first JUnit test method to test our Spring Boot application. First, let's stop. Okay, it is stop, and open the Hello Spring Boot application test right here. And to test our Spring Boot context, we can auto-write an instance of the MVC Controller class. Yeah, we use an auto-write annotation, and specify a reference to the MVC Controller class we created before. Controller, MVC Controller, and in the test method context load, you can assert that this controller is not known. Assert that MVC controller dot is not known. Okay, and now we can run this test method context load in the outline view here. Right click, run as JUnit test, and you can see it will start our Spring Boot application, and you can see the Spring Boot logo appears here, and you see the past the test has passed with a green bar indicator here. You can see context closed passed. That's the simplest way to test our Spring Boot application to make sure that the controller is actually what created. Okay, sorry, the name MVC Controller has 3 L's, which is not correct, so has to rename it. Rename to have only 2 L letters here. Okay, and let's modify our Spring MVC handler method. MVC controller here to pass a message to the view. So we can use let this method return a model and view object. Create a model and view object new with the view name is home. Return this method, return the model and view object, and we add an object, add an attribute here to the model so the view can access it. Name is message and value is greetings message from controller. Okay, save. And now we can start our Spring Boot application to test Start. Test using our internal web browser. Hit enter, and you can see welcome home of Spring Boot, and the message is greeting message from the controller. So far so good, right? Go to the home page and click say hello. You will see. You see exactly the content of the home file, and you can see the message, the value of the message variable is printed. Message is passed from the controller here, you see. So that's how to code a Spring MVC controller that pass a value to Thymeleaf template view. And in JUnit test, I will show you how to write a test method to test the hello method here. Test context. So we need to annotate the class with additional annotation. Auto configure mock MVC. Auto configure mock MVC that allows Spring to create a mock MVC object. We need to declare auto wire view here, and the type is mock MVC. Mock MVC. You see, this object mocks the MVC environment, so we can test. Now write a second test method. Test. Write test hello. Mock MVC. We call mock MVC. Perform a get with URL slash hello. And then we can call and do and call print to print the request and response detail, and we expect that the status of the response is HTTP is okay. This throws an exception. So I throw this declaration. Now we can test this method, and we need to stop running Spring Boot application. When running a test method, the whole Spring Boot application is started. Now right click here and run as the unit test for the test hello method. You can see the test passed successfully here. You see test hello for this URL / hello. You change the URL and test again, you should see the test fail. Run. You see the test fail. Okay, and now we can expect the content returned by the request the response that matches some value. Okay, so we expect method content to set the content of the response to string and content string. For example, content string greetings message. Okay, because we got an error here. Note that the content static method should be from the result handler. So delete this and click here to import content from the result matcher. Okay, now we can run this test method again. You can see the content of the home view return containing the string greetings message. Okay, now we can run the test hello method again. Run. You see, the test has passed successfully. Very good, right? Now, let me show you how to create a RESTful web service controller with our Hello One Spring Boot project. Create a new class here and name the class as REST web services controller. Finish. And we annotate this class using the REST controller annotation. And we have a handler method for the get HTTP get method. So we use the annotation get mapping for the URL /rest, and this method just return a string rest hello. This method just return a string for simplicity. Hello rest. You see, that's very simple. And we can write a JUnit test method to test our RESTful web service controller. Write a new method here. Test void test rest. We can copy and paste the code of the test hello method here and just change the URL is /rest and content string is hello rest. Add to throws exception. Okay. Notice that in the console view of the previous JUnit test, you can see the content of the request here /hello and the content of the response here. Response stated 200 and the body is HTML here. Waiting message from the controller. Now we run the test method to test REST full web services. I click on that JUnit test. The test fail. Let's see. You can see expected a string containing hello rest, but was hello rest with only one error letter. You can see in the console view the details of the test here, the request here, /rest method, attd method get, and model view, and the details of the response here, content type text plain status 200, and content body content is hello rest. So the test fail, we need to update our code of the REST controller, web service controller here. So add additional error letter here and run the test method again. Test REST, run. Now the test should pass. You see, the test has passed successfully. Very good, right? Now you can start our Hello Spring Boot application to test with browser. Okay. Now let me test with Chrome. You see here. Say hello. And in this page we have having co-rest. And see, you see it return hello rest. Okay, so far so good. So far you have learned to develop a Spring Boot Hello World project with a REST controller, Spring MVC controller with Thymeleaf template, and write some JUnit test method. Here now, let me show you how to package our Spring Boot application to run as a standalone Java application. So in our project, you can run the Maven Go, run as Maven build number 4 here, and in the edit configuration and launch dialog, specify the goal for this one is packaged. This we package our Spring Boot application as a standalone executable Java file. Click run. You see. So for the first time packaging our Spring Boot application, it will download necessary required Java files from Maven central repository, and you can see the JUnit test is running. Everything is automatically executed. You see, and finally we got the build success message. And let's check our project directory, and we should see that the Java file for the project is got created here. You can see building Java STS for project Hello Spring Boot zip. So I copy this path and open in Windows Explorer here, and you can see the Java file got created here. Hello Spring Boot version 0.0.1 snapshot here, and now we can use command line to run this Spring Boot application as a standalone application. But first, we need to stop our Spring Boot application in the Eclipse. Here, stop, and open a command line prompt in Windows. Command prompt here, and I change to that directory, and you can see the you can see the jar file hello Spring Boot here. And now let's type this command java jar and the jar file name. You see hello Spring Boot 0.0.1 snapshot.jar here. Hit enter, and our Spring Boot application will run. You see, as a standalone Java application. Now we can test using Chrome browser. And you can see in the console view, you can see, let me show you, click say hello. You can see in the console view it say hello what code. That means our Spring Boot application is actually running. And click here to call REST. You see hello REST. Okay, that's how to package and run our first Hello World Spring Boot application. So far, throughout this video tutorial, you have learned how to get started with Spring Boot using Spring Tool Suite IDE version 4, Spring Tools 4 or STS 4. Learn to download and install Spring Tools 4 for Eclipse and develop Spring Boot Hello World project. You will learn to code a MVC controller with Thymeleaf template, code a REST controller, write some JUnit test, and package and run the application. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to click subscribe button to subscribe to my Java programming channel.